Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. You see the title. Child, let's talk about this. So I just posted one of my Let's Talk New Makeup videos, and I came across a post talking about the new Louis Vuitton makeup line that was going to launch. And I had people in the comments asking, am I going to review it? I was like, child, let's see. Let's see what it's giving when the products are shown and stuff like that. And you see how I ain't got no makeup on in this video. I'm not gonna have any makeup on by the end of this video either, because I ain't trying that. I'm not. And before I tell you why, let me show you what it's giving. Okay, so if you saw the other video, I mentioned that they would be coming out with 55 lipsticks and eyeshadow palettes. And it appears they're also coming out with lip balms as well. So before I tell you about the specific products, let me show you. So this is an eyeshadow palette you'll be able to get. This is an eyeshadow palette you'll be able to get. This is an eyeshadow palette you'll be able to get. This is an eyeshadow palette you'll be able to get. I believe there's 8 in total for you to choose from. These are some of the lipsticks you'll be able to purchase. And I was correct when I said, I'm sure there'll be a lot of reds in there because it just gives the target audience that Louis Vuitton would be going for. And this white packaging, these are the lip balms that you'll be able to purchase. Okay, let me tell you about the products. So first launch includes 55 lipsticks, 10 lip balms, and 8 eyeshadow palettes. Sustainable, refillable packaging design nods to the house's monogram flower, which appears on lipstick tubes and eyeshadow compacts. LV Rouge lipsticks, the Roman numerals LV stands for 55, so that's the number of the Rouge lipsticks launching first. Highly pigmented in 2 finishes, 27 in creamy satin and 28 in velvety matte. The formula 85% skincare base, long-lasting comfort, long wear, vivid color for the matte, and moisturizing for the satin finish. This retails for $160. One lipstick retails for $160. Okay, moving on. The LV Balm Lip Balms, 10 sheer shades, nourish and buildable with shea butter, hyaluronic acid, 5 flavor berry extract, 48-hour hydration and smoothing effect, has a mint and raspberry scent. This also retails for $160. Why do I feel like I keep saying L5? LV. The LV Ombre eyeshadow palettes, 8 different palettes, each has 4 eyeshadows arranged in a blossom shape with ultra matte to glittery finishes. This retails for $260. I'm so sorry, babes. You're gonna have to make it make sense to me. Yeah, because yes, you are Louis Vuitton, so I knew the second it was announced it was coming out with a makeup line that it was going to be expensive. However, you are in the same boat as your competitors like Chanel, Dior, Hermes. And y'all know I don't finish foundation like that, but the Chanel water tint is one of the few, and it might have been one of the first foundations I have ever finished, and that was $70. Your one lipstick is twice the price of a Chanel foundation. And it's a lipstick. If it was a Louis Vuitton foundation that was $150, $160, maybe I'd be able to argue that, because my most expensive foundation is La Mer, and I believe that's like $150. And I think it's somewhere between like $120 and $150, and that's my most expensive foundation. So if Louis Vuitton was launching a foundation that was $150, $160, maybe I could argue that there, because there are others on the market and it would be in the same price range. But it's a lipstick. It is a lipstick. First, I don't even wear bullet lipstick like that. And when I wear lip products in general, 90% of the time, I told y'all this, it's Fenty Beauty. And Fenty they have glosses, they have lip balms, they have lipsticks, and I think Fenty's strong suit is probably their lip products, right? I feel like that's something that it's most people's favorite thing, and sometimes only thing that they like from the brand. It gets the job done, it performs well, it looks good on the lips, and that is somewhere around $30 to $40. So I need you to make the $160 lipstick make sense to me. And it's not just, as someone who, is thinking about the price compared to their favorite products, and their favorite products is a drugstore brand, a mid-range brand, or even one of the prestigious brands. Like, there's a difference between prestigious brands and luxurious brands. I am looking at you in comparison to other luxurious brands. I need you to make it make sense to me. And then let's look at the eyeshadow palettes. Now, mind you, one of the main selling points here isn't necessarily what's on the inside, it's the name. and the packaging. It's the fact that it's Louis Vuitton, and it's the fact that it's luxury. Mind you, that's the selling point of a lot of luxury, is the name, because you can look at some things that are luxury and you're like, I can get that on Amazon, right? Balenciaga is a social experiment. Now, I don't always say that with things that are luxury, because sometimes you can look at a piece that's luxury and you can look at something that is Fashion Nova and you can tell the luxury is priced that way. It's quality. It's not going to shrivel up in the washing machine like that. Okay, it makes sense. But in this instance, the selling is, it's Louis Vuitton and it's luxurious. The packaging should also give that. I'm so sorry. The eyeshadow palettes, it's giving Tarte. Y'all remember those eyeshadow palettes from Tarte, like 2016-ish, the circle ones? That's the only thing that I'm seeing when I'm looking at it. It's giving Tartelette. Tartiest. So the inside is giving Tarte, the outside is giving, you just slapped on the Louis Vuitton logo. So I am not, the packaging is not drawing me here, right? But then you look at the colors on the inside and you think of one that you're $260 for 4 eyeshadows, but then you look at the eyeshadows that are in it. You're not getting the most elaborate eyeshadow choices, like the most elaborate eyeshadow combinations with the eyeshadows that are in here. So you'll probably have to buy more than one if you want to use this formula of eyeshadow, but you want to create, like look at this blue eyeshadow palette. Ooh, I tapped it by mistake. Look at this blue eyeshadow palette. And mind you, blue is a very specific eyeshadow color to use, and I feel like you use it in very specific. Y'all remember back in the day when people were, or brands were launching eyeshadow palettes, or they were doing like influencer eyeshadow palette collabs, and there would just be like a random blue in there, and people would be like, now what you supposed to do with that blue? So I'm making a whole palette of blue, and it's just different. And mind you, shimmer blue, matte blue, and then a like gray cool tone-ish brown. 1 + 1 is not equaling 2 here. And I fear I'm looking at it at the perspective of someone who is more so, if I'm going to do eyeshadow, yeah, I need it to make sense. I need the lid color, I need the crease color, I need the outer color, I need a transition shade. I need all of that to make sense. However, just like I mentioned with the lipstick, where it would make sense to me for Louis Vuitton to come out with a whole bunch of reds, given the target audience they're probably going for. If you look at it that way, it kind of does make sense that their eyeshadow palettes look like that, because again, the people who I said would be, the people who would, you know, be quicker to just have a red lip and maybe some mascara, some eyeliner, and call it a day, are also the same people who they will just wear one eyeshadow shade on their lid, right? Just throw on some blue on there and call it a day. Throw on a neutral, you know, shimmery gold champagne and go about their business. So if you're looking at it that way, and if Louis Vuitton is producing it expecting people who wear makeup that way, then I guess it makes sense for those to be the colorways of the palettes. Now, do keep in mind that this is in collaboration with Pat McGrath being the creative director. So, and we know Pat McGrath. And if you think of like the fashion world, and high fashion, how makeup is done there, when you see some of the work that Pat McGrath has done, it makes sense in her brain as well, because that is a way that people will wear this type of makeup. So it would have to be a no dog for me on the eyeshadow as well, because it doesn't make sense to me as a consumer and as the way that I wear my makeup. So the only reason left would be for me to do it to show y'all. Like if I were to purchase it, I'm telling you right now, it would only be to make a video to show you guys, you know, my experience with the formula. And then that still wouldn't really make sense to me, because I don't feel like I've built an audience that wears their makeup like that either. Because if that's not how I do it, then that's not why you're here for me. There are content creators who, like, that is more their style, right? Everyone's different, and I feel like it would make sense for them. I don't feel like it would make sense for me. So even buying it just to make content about it, it doesn't make sense to me. Now, before I get into something interesting that I saw and I'm trying to understand here, let's go through the comments and see what people are saying, because I also have something that I want to say about that. So, almost fainted when I saw the price. For that price, the lipstick should apply itself. I can see Mother Pat McGrath touch on this beautiful launch. Price is honestly obscene. Not even Hermes, Chanel, Dior, Prada, and the list goes on. They better be refillable and include Tinkerbell coming off the compact to apply my makeup with pixie dust. However, mind you, what I find interesting, the person who just said that, they said, rant aside, yes, I will be reviewing it. So you see what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people who you'll see reviewing it, they themselves know that the price is crazy for what you're getting, all that stuff, but they're going to review it just so they can be the person who says, I purchased the 150 Louis Vuitton lipstick, and here's my review on it, because it's going to bring in views. So yeah, you'll get your money back by making the video, but no. I was excited, and I love luxury makeup like Victoria Beckham, Sicily, or Hermes, but these prices are insane. I hope it's a really incredible feeling heavyweight metal used for packaging, not just light plastic like in Pat's original brushes. Otherwise, it's almost a scam. $260 for 4 eyeshadows without any innovation in them in 2025 when we have bazillions of other brands. Really? I know people will still buy it, but I'm really looking forward to seeing that circus where bloggers and celebrities will persuade the mass audience that it's truly worth every penny. Whew. Mouthful. This must be rage bait. And mind you, these are people with some blue check marks in this comment section, some celebrity makeup artists. Like everything else Louis Vuitton, this fits their desired clientele perfectly. Working class people thinking that these products will make them look rich. Oh, these prices are obscene. Given what is happening across both the luxury and beauty sectors right now, I cannot believe they decided to come in at twice the price of their closest competitors. They had time to make a different choice. Consumers will always complain about prices, but the macro indicators for these sectors make no sense. Oh, they are so going to lose customers with these prices. I know luxury beauty is supposed to be luxury, but look at Dior. Their products go viral because they are good and people are willing to pay more for luxury packaging, etc. But these prices are so ridiculous. I don't think anyone will buy them even if they are viral. I'm dying to see who is going to pay $160 for a lip balm. Now, I own 2 bags from Louis Vuitton worth every damn penny and damn near the entire collection from Pat McGrath. So yeah, I could drop the money if I wanted to, but just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. It's the principle of the matter. And see, I'll cut off reading the comments there because they pointed something out. When we all heard Louis Vuitton's coming out with a makeup line, I feel like you should have expected it to be luxury pricing. And I feel like people expected luxury pricing like Prada, like Valentino, like Chanel, like Hermes, like Dior. I don't know if I said Dior. So it was going to be luxury makeup. And just like luxury fashion, luxury everything else like that, they already have a very specific target audience and they are not trying to be inclusive. That is one of the selling points of being luxury, that it's exclusive, that it's for, the top of the top, the people who have, because wealth equates to importance to a lot of people. So if they can afford that type of luxury item, then those are the top of the top people that you want to know, the top people that you want to respect, the top people this, that, and the third, right? And oh, well, the people who can afford it are the people who will purchase it. I saw a video not too long ago, and it was this girl, and she said that if you are looking around at what's going on in the economy right now and you are still frivolously spending, you're still, doing hauls of this and hauls of that and blah, 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 that's actually an indicator to her that you are not wealthy. You are not, someone who has the type of money to just be frivolously spending like that. Because actually, sorry, I got an email. Because the actual wealthy, the actual people who they have that disposable income stuff like that, those will be some of the first people who they will see a recession coming, they will see a terrible economy, and they start pulling back on the expenses. Yeah, they're still going to live, they're going to how's the best way to describe this? Rich, poor is not the same as actual poor, right? I had seen something about Kylie Jenner was going poor and she didn't have the money for this and the third. And people in the comments were, making all these jokes like, ha ha, da 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 da. And someone was like, y'all understand, her type of poor is not the same type of poor as someone who was not almost billionaire type of poor. That just means that she is cutting back on, on house costs, maybe house services, maybe the size of the house. Cause I think she was selling her house, something like that, right? So she was going to downsize from, a mega mansion to a smaller mansion, but it's still a mansion, right? So I think that's what the first girl I was talking about was saying in her video. The people who actually have the money, they're looking at where the economy is going right now. And they are downsizing for someone who is still wealthy. Like, yes, they will still be able to buy a Chanel bag once a month, but they're not going to be buying, like 12 Chanel bags like they were doing a year, 2 years, 3 years ago, something like that, right? So she said, if you are someone who I see you're doing, I bought 12 Coach bags this month, I'm doing this, that, and the third. So to her, that's an indicator that you are, like the person in the comments said, you are someone who is trying to give off the appearance that you live like the wealthy, but you actually don't, because you're not moving how the wealthy does. Because that's a saying, right? That's how the wealthy stays wealthy, because they know when to splurge, when not to splurge. They know when to be smart with money, all of that type of stuff, right? So even this expectation that, yeah, Louis Vuitton can do that because Louis Vuitton, like the customers are people who can afford it. I don't know if you're going to be able to say that about this, because again, you can see, just because people can afford it doesn't mean that everyone's, especially at a time like this right now, everyone's just going to buy it just because they can. So here are the two people that are going to buy it. Content creators who are praying to God. They are going to get their money back by the engagement that they get from posting about it, because it's not something that so many people are going to be able to do. Y'all remember when like Fenty Beauty launched, and it was like every 30 minutes someone was giving their review video of the brand. And because it happened so quickly within days of the brand launching, if you even waited a week after Fenty launched to post a video talking about it, you were numbered 2,567. And by that point, people were kind of over it, because like, oh, okay, another Fenty launch video. I've already seen 50. I've already gotten the opinions of 50. Either at this point I'm going to buy it or I'm not going to buy it, that type of thing, right? Not so much going to happen this time around, because one lipstick is $160. So if you are one of the influencers who purchases it and posts about it, people are going to flock to your video, because even though they might not buy it, they still want to know. They still want to know how it's going to go. They still want to know if it's worth it, even though most people going in will already know it's not worth it. But just that engagement, the content creator will get their money back on, hopefully, on what they spend on it. So that's one. Two is the person who wants to buy it because they have the money to buy it and because it's Louis Vuitton. They don't even necessarily, they're not the biggest like makeup lover. They are not someone who, they do like the tutorials and stuff like that. And they don't necessarily care for makeup like that, but it's Louis Vuitton, and their whole thing is luxury brands, luxury clothing, luxury, stays where they go, just because they need you to know that they are able to purchase the luxury, right? However, the thing with that, and again, luxury brands, their goal was never to be all inclusive. Their goal was never to have all of these consumers who are interested in their stuff, right? Their target audience is very specific. However, when it comes to makeup, I'm not sure how sustainable that's going to be as a brand. I feel like it's easier with clothing and stuff like that, because you can see that it's Louis Vuitton, especially if it's monogram or something like that, right? Even non-branded luxury brands and stuff like that, not brands, but products, someone can see it and they know, oh, you're wearing that, right? I can see Hanifa and I know that you're wearing Hanifa, right? Like if you're just someone who follows fashion, or you're someone who you purchase that type of stuff, but it's not necessarily the monogram type stuff. Even if it's not monogram, you can see it on someone and you know that they're wearing it, and the whole luxury thing kicks in. It's like, oh, you must have money. You must be important. You must da 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 da, right? But especially if you're carrying a Speedy, you're carrying a Neverfull or something like that, I don't know if people are going to necessarily feel that it's worth it in the sense when it comes to makeup, because they're not going to know that you're wearing a Louis Vuitton lipstick until you tell them that. And I mean, on the internet, sure, if you're doing a pack my makeup case with me, they can see you putting the Louis Vuitton in your makeup bag or something like that. But like day-to-day life type thing, again, if I'm with you and I'm looking at you, the LV is not going to be printed on your lips. So I don't know if people will find it that worth it, even if they can afford it, to buy that type of makeup for the sole reason of it just being Louis Vuitton, because there's not as much return on their investment of people looking at them like they're important by buying it, because you're not going to know that it's Louis Vuitton on their eyes. But one last thing before I wrap this video up. A couple years ago, Christian Louboutin launched makeup, and the same thing happened that I'm predicting is going to happen with this Louis Vuitton. I almost said Christian Vuitton again. Where it launched, and because it had that like shock value pricing to it, right? The lipsticks were like $50, $60, which even that was seen as expensive for lipstick at the time. I think they even had like $105 lipsticks. People ran out to review it so they could make videos about it, and people flocked to the videos because they wanted to see, you know, like, what's it giving? Is it worth it? Even though a lot of people went into watching the video thinking it's not worth it, but they still wanted to see it. They still wanted to know, right? But here we are 5, 6, 7 years later. I have never heard a peep about it ever since then. Like, I don't hear any mention of it. I'm surprised I even remembered it right now, but I went to go look it up, right? So it's on Nordstrom's. I'm on Nordstrom's website. And the Rouge Louboutin Velvet Matte Lipstick retails for $105. Now, it has a 4.5 star reviews. That's pretty good, right? And I see that there's 143 reviews. So you're like, okay, well, that's at least 143 people who purchased it and felt some type of way enough about it to talk about it, right? So there's 100 people who were talking about it now. Granted, it's been years that the product has been around, so only 140, but okay. I don't see it talked about anywhere else. So someone said, look at the reviews. And that's the thing, you need to read the reviews. Don't just look and see, oh, it's got 5 stars, must be good. Read the actual reviews, because what I suspected is exactly what I saw when I looked at them. So looking at the reviews, and the latest one is from like August 19th, which was what, yesterday? And the very first thing it says is, this review was collected as part of a promotion. The next one, this review was collected as part of a promotion. This review was collected as part of a promotion. This review was collected as part of a promotion. This review was collected as part of a promotion. This review was collected as part of a promotion. This review. Oh, here's one that doesn't have that disclaimer. So this is a regular customer from July 2024. So we are in last year. But moving on, this review. Oh, here's another regular customer. So now we're back in February of 2024. This review, 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 this review. Baby, we are back in December of 2023. And you see how out of all the reviews that I just mentioned, there was like, what, 3 who were just regular customers that reviewed it? Everyone else was someone who this review was sent to them for promotion. So they were sent the product for free in exchange for them writing a review on Nordstrom's website. So the only people writing reviews for $105 lipstick were people who were sent it for free. I fear that's the same thing that's going to happen with this Louis Vuitton makeup, especially if the prices continue like that. Because think about it, foundation is usually more expensive than the lip products, right? So if your lipstick is $160, how much is the foundation going to be? How much is your concealer going to be? Contour products. So I don't know, child. We'll see. We'll see, you know, where it goes from here. I saw a lot of people in the comments predicting that either, you know, they'll change up their prices within a few years, or you just won't see the brand anymore in a few years. We're just gonna have to watch and find out. Again, it's a little confusing to me because even luxury fashion is seeing a decline in sales. So I feel like makeup could have been a place, if you are declining in sales for fashion, that could have been a place for you to, you know, have a new market. And if you were trying to appeal to different crowds, stuff like that, if the prices made sense. But again, we will see. We will see what happens when it launches, and then maybe we'll have to revisit this a year or 2 from now. So that is it for this video. Let me know in the comments down below what you think about this launch. Will you be picking anything up? Where do you see this brand 2 years from now? Let me know all that in the comments down below. Make sure to thumbs up, comment, subscribe, turn notification bells down below. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.